Okay, fine. So let me let me walk over you through an example. For example, everyone knows food delivery apps. So a customer would be organizing, he would be ordering food, he would place an order, and then he would also give some address and everything. For example, if a delivery person wants to, he wants to deliver some food item to a customer, that means he has to, he should have the data like what order he have placed or what is the address, just in case if his address is misplaced or if his order has placed twice, or if even though he did not pay and it shows like the payment is completed, that means we can say that there is some issue with this. So that's when we need data. Say you want to perform some analysis on a data set that you find interesting, like a data set called squirrel population of Central Park or various types of Frenchies. The first thing, that thing you will need to do with any data set is to clean it up, because raw data will have so many problems. I mean, we cannot do well with the raw data. And yes, many data sets might have missing information. Like if for example, if you just see the Google, many websites have only some information, but not the complete information. And if at all you can download it as a CSV file, you can also have some missing information or duplicate values, or it might not be an exact format that you want. For example, name, you can consider. Some people might have the first name as last name, and also another column as date, something like month, day, or year format, or some can be like year, date, month format. This is why you need to clean the data. So yes, in this workshop, you will learn how to use data science libraries to prepare your data for analysis and visualization. Explore data frame information. So what is a data frame, by the way? Data frame is nothing but a table. Here we can see, so this is a table. These are the columns, and these are the columns, and here these are the rows. So data frame is nothing but a table consisting of rows and columns. Here we can see how data that is not cleaned. Here we can see name, here we can see age, but here we are having a missing value. And here the right time, the option is showing, the date column is showing little, it's not formatted well. And here we can see the distance, kilometers, where we can see a value called none. That means it's a null value. Here we can see a date which is showing different formats, and we are also having a null value. This is why we need to clean a data set before we are going to start a data science project or a machine learning project. And yes, it's very, very important that this is a crucial step in starting a data science project. So yeah, let me walk you through this. Before starting any analysis, we have to know like what is the data. It's important to explore a data frame to understand the structure and quality of the data. If it or if you know what kind of data it is, only then you can clean it, or it's only when we can insert any values or something like that. Includes checking the number of rows, columns. That means whenever we have a data set, we have to know how many rows it consists of, what are the columns that it consists of, what kind of data set it is, what are the data types, what are the columns, etc. And also what kind of missing values we are having, what kind of which rows are duplicates, and what are the basic statistics of the data set. Only then we can explore the things. So by exploring the data first, we can identify what are the potential issues and also decide the right cleaning or transformation steps needed for accurate analysis. That means depending on the data set, the cleaning or transformation steps will be applied on a particular data set. For example, there is a student marks report. You have to help him to gain good marks. So if at all you want to help him, you have to know what are the subjects, what are the marks that he's getting, in which subject he's poor. For that, we definitely need data. So that's what the example of this. Here we can see an illustration the coding part. Here we can see importing pandas as PD and importing numpy as NP. Why do we need pandas? So for storing a data set, we need a pandas data frame. And numpy is mainly for numerical computations of the data set. Here we can see that, here we can see how we can load a CSV file. Using the Panda data frame, using this dot read underscore CSV, we will be importing the data set. So the dataset that I have used is the Bangalore house dataset. And yes, these are the methods. These methods will help you understand the dataset very well before starting cleaning or transforming the dataset. So the first method comes is the head method. It shows the first 5 rows of the dataset. Let me show you the yeah. So this is how we have imported the dataset. And here you can see whenever we use the head command, we can see the first 5 rows of the data set. So we are having around 9 columns: area type, availability, location, size, society, etc. And and the second command goes is the tail command. So what does tail do? It shows the last 5 rows of the tail command. I mean, it shows the last 5 rows of the data set. Here you can see. And what does info do? So info mainly summarizes the columns. It mainly summarizes about the data set, like how many columns it has, how many rows it has, and what is the data type of each column. What is data type of each column in I mean means. For example, if there is a column called name has a data type called string. For example, a column called age is present. Age is having the data type as integer. That means the number values. So info would be giving the summary of the data set. And then the fourth method is the describe. So summary starts for numeric columns. It gives the some statistics of the numeric columns, like it gives mean, median, and mode, etc. Next command is the shape. It returns tuples, like how many rows the dataset consists of and how many columns it consists of. The next one is the columns. Whenever we give a command a df.columns, it gives how many, it lists the column names. The next command is the types. It shows the data type of each column. Just like I mentioned, name is having a string, age is having an integer, similar to that. And the last command is the value underscore counts. It counts unique values in a column. Let me show you the hands-on. See, here you can see whenever we use the data.info, we can see the total number of columns and how many rows we are having and what are the column names. These are the column names. And if it's having any null objects, and also it is showing the data type. Like for area type, it's showing object, and for price and all, it's showing float. And whenever we use a describe, it gives all the summary statistics of all the columns. For example, here we can see count of each column. We can see the frequency, like how many rows it is having, and we can also see the mean, standard deviation, mean, and these are the interquartile ranges: 25%, 50%, and 75%. We can also see min and max value. So now here, see, the dataset that I have taken is an unclean dataset. Here you can see that all these are it's showing null values. So now that if we perform any kind of if we train any model, or if we start any data science project with this data set, it definitely is going to show us wrong results. So that's why we need to clean data set, which is very, very important. Here we can see the df.shape. It's giving us number of rows and number of columns. And here we can see, by using this command .toList, we can see the column names that have been printed here. And here we can see what are the column names and their data type with this command, like df.dtypes. Don't worry, I'll be sharing this notebook and you can just refer it, and you can also practice it with different data sets. And yeah, the data set that I have imported is from Kaggle. This is one more illustration where we can see the commands that I have shown you in the Google Colab. So yeah, what is the takeaway? So what do we learn? So the first step in cleaning the dataset is to perform exploratory data analysis. That means you have to know what kind of data it is, what are the columns, what are the rows. You have to know what is the structure of the dataset. So exploring this data frame gives a clear picture of the data. and helps us make informed decision for cleaning and analysis. Once you get to know about your data set, you can perform the cleaning and transformation techniques. Because each data set varies, you have to perform different types of cleaning and transformation techniques for each and every data set. It's the first and most important step in any data project. So the second thing is working with the missing data. Just like I have shown you in an Excel sheet, there are some missing values. So how do we fill it, or how do we work with it? So missing data is common in real world data sets, and it must be handled carefully to maintain data quality. Otherwise it might be a problem in otherwise it might generate some inaccurate results. So yeah, we can we can work with missing data in three ways. First one would be identifying the missing values, second one would be filling the missing values, or we can also remove the missing values depending upon the situation. So what are the techniques to do what are the techniques to implement to work with missing data? First one would be we can replace it with the mean, median, or mode, or else forward or backward filling. Or also we can simply drop the incomplete rows or columns, because some rows have more than 4 to 5 missing values. That time we can also remove those rows so that the model can perform well. So the right method depends on the context and the impact on analysis. What are missing and null values? Missing value is something that is kept blank, and a null value is something where it is written with a na and nan or none. So what are the methods to fill in these values, or to check whether we are having any null rows or not? So the first one is first method is isnull, where it will check each cell for null value. That means it will check each cell if the null value is present or not. The second one comes, it counts null values column wise. That means how many null values are present in a single column. The third one is null.any. So it tells if there is any null exists in each column, and it returns either true or false depending upon the null values. And these are some different syntaxes, also returns the same as above. And the last one, it filters rows where size column is null. That means in a particular column, it gives all the null values. Let me walk you through the hands-on. So how do we identify null values? Here you can see whenever we apply this isNull method to the data frame that we have stored previously, it gives us so whether we are having null values or not. That means false. It is showing that there is no null value. Here we can see it's true. That means this is a null value. It is also a null value. This is how it gives. Similarly, it is this command. It gives the total number of null value rows in a particular column. That means location is having a single null value, size is having 16 null values, 16 null value rows. I mean, here this will give if a particular column is having null values or not. So this area and underscore type is not having a single null value, but location, size, society, all these are having some null values, so it's giving us true. It's a different syntax, but it also returns the same. Here we can see whenever we apply a dot isnull on a column, it returns all the rows that are having the null values of a particular column. This is some another illustration where we can see that the same example that I have taken. So how do we fill null values? It's fine that we have identified the null values, but now how do we fill it? So filling null values is a key step in cleaning data. Instead of dropping rows, we can impute missing values with logical replacements like the columns mean, median, and mode, or a fixed value. So we can, like if for example, consider a column. Now that it's an integer, it is having integer values. If there are some null values, you can just do the mean of the column and then replace it with the and then you can just replace it in the place of a null value. Similarly, you can also do with median or a mode, that is most frequently value can be filled it in the place of a missing value or a null value. Or else you can also assign a fixed value in the place of a null value. So yeah, Pandas provides flexible options such as forward fill and backward fill as well, or using statistical measures. The choice depends on the data type and context of the column. So these are the methods to work with the missing or to fill null values. So the first one comes is fill NA. So this will replaces all nulls with zero. So whatever the null values that are present in the data set, it will replace it with a zero. Similarly, for a string, it replaces with a unknown value. Similarly, this is ffill and bfill. So the forward fill, it uses the previous value to fill the null value, and backfill, it uses the next value to fill the null value row. Similarly, this command is helpful in filling the null values with column mean. So whenever we are having a null value in a column, we will be doing the column mean, and then we will just replace it in the place of null value. Similarly, it is for column median, and it fills with most frequent value. Let's see filling null values. For example, here we can see the null values were filled with a value called 2. So these are the null values that have got filled with a value called 2. So depending upon your data set, so depending upon your values, you can choose whatever value to fill in the place of null values. Here we can see that there are no null values after filling, as we have filled it here. Here after doing the sum, we can see that there are no null values in the data set. So this is the forward fill. Here you can observe this is a forward fill. That means this row is getting filled with the previous data. So this has filled with the previous data. Similarly, you can see this too. This null value has been filled with the previous data, that is so ever in this way. And again, you can see that there are no null values because we have filled it with a forward fill option. Similarly, we can see whatever the null values that were present, we have filled it with the balcony.mean. That is, we have done mean for all the columns, and whatever the mean that we are getting, we will be filling it in the place of null value. Here we can see that the value is equals to 2 has been replaced in the place of the null values. The third thing is that dropping null values. Sometimes it's really very difficult to fill it in, to fill the null values or to identify the null values. That's when we have the third option called dropping null values. So the first thing that we'll be doing is when missing data cannot be filled meaningfully or it affects the analysis. Even after filling it, sometimes the data set may not work properly. That's when we can just drop these rows or columns. So Pandas allows flexible ways to remove nulls based on how many values are missing or in specific columns only. While dropping helps clean the data, we must be careful not to lose important information. Dropping is allowed only when the important information is not removed. So we need to be very careful while while cleaning the data or while dropping the null values. We have to make sure or we have to ensure that the important information is not lost. These are some of the methods that you can see to drop the null values. The first command is drop NA. It drops rows with any null value. So what it actually does is if there is any null value present in any of the cell or any of the column, it simply drops that row. Yeah, it simply drops that rows. Similarly, drop any axis is equals to 1. If there is any null value that is present in any column, it simply drops that columns with that. It simply drops the columns. And then third one is drop NA threshold is equals to 3. So it keeps rows with at least 3 non-null values, and it drops remaining rows. Similarly, drop NA subset equals to column. It drops rows where specific column is null. So it specifies whether, for example, as we have seen a size column, it only drops those rows with a specific column. If that column is null, it only drops that rows. Similarly, drop underscore duplicates. It removes duplicate rows. And next is drop columns equals to col. It drops a specific column. And then last one is drop index is equals to 0, 2. It drops rows by index. Here you can see drop NA. So previously we have seen some null columns, I mean null rows. Those have been dropped. And to know whether they have been removed or not, you can just check the number of rows and number of columns. Previously we were having some 13,000 rows, and here after dropping the values, I mean after dropping the null value rows, you can see that there are only 7,496 rows. So let me show you the yeah. Here you can see the first method that we are using is the drop NA. So after dropping, we can see that it got affected. That means the number of rows have been decreased because all the null value rows have been removed. And also to verify, you can use this command isnull.sum, because through this you can see that there are no null value rows. And similarly, we can replace it with a value called 4, just like how we have replaced it with 2. Here we'll be replacing the nan rows with the value of 4. And this got reflected in the output. Next is we have just given a data frame so that you can just have an overlook of the data set. So the first data set is having these nan values, right? So these nan values have been replaced with the value that we have provided above, that is the 4. So what is the takeaway? Handling missing and null values is essential for clean and reliable data. Just imagine, as I mentioned previously regarding the food delivery, if a delivery man wants to, if he wants to deliver a food item, and whenever a customer have placed an order and his address is missing, then how will a delivery man could deliver the order to the correct customer? That's the problem. So that's why we need to handle the missing values and null values so that we can perform the data cleaning and transformation reliably. Whether we chose to fill or drop them, the key is to understand their impact and apply the method that best fits the data and the goal of analysis. Clean data always leads to better insights. So the third thing is that removing duplicate data. Just like I explained previously, a customer have ordered, he have kept an order, and it was, in the database, it is showing that it's showing for twice. That means it's not correct one. So yes, duplicate rows can occur due to data entry errors, merging data sets. That is maybe whenever whenever we enter the data, it might give some errors. Or whenever we merge data sets, like two data sets are merged, that means that's when we can have some duplicate rows or some repeated records, which is an inconsistent data set. They can mislead analysis and should be removed. So this is not good for analysis. It produces wrong results. Pandas provides easy methods to detect and drop duplicates, either completely or based on specific columns. So these are the methods to identify and remove duplicates. The first one is duplicated. It returns true for duplicate rows. So in the entire data set, if we find any kind of duplicate rows, it returns true for it. Similarly, duplicated.sum. It counts total duplicate rows and it returns that value. And the third method is the drop underscore duplicates. It identifies the duplicate columns and it removes all those duplicate rows. And then fourth one is drop duplicate subset column. It removes duplicate rows based on the specific column. The previous one is it removes all the duplicates, and this one is that based on a specific column, it removes all the duplicates. In place is equals to true. That means it applies the changes to the original data frame. So whatever the changes that might takes place, it will apply to the original data frame. That means the original data set that we have imported from the Kaggle. So here we can see df.duplicated. So in this rows, we are having no duplicates. That's why it's returning false. But in the last row, we can see that there is some kind of duplicated row. That's why it has returned true. So df.duplicate underscore sum, it is showing that there are 527. That means it's giving the value of that. Here we can see in the zeroth row, in the first or second row, we can see that it's giving false. That means there are no duplicate rows. But the last row is having a duplicate. That's the reason it is showing true. Here it is giving us the sum of the duplicated rows. That means we are having around 527 rows that are duplicate. Here you can ask me why it is showing like this. We are having almost 13,000 rows. So the Google cannot provide the all rows output. So it's just showing the first 5 and then last 5 output. So we're having overall 527 duplicate rows. So after the next command that we have applied is this drop underscore duplicates. So we can see after dropping underscore duplicates and checking the sum, we can see that all the duplicates were dropped. That means all the rows that are having duplicate values were removed. And after that we have checked it with the command called duplicated dot sum. We can see that it's returning 0. That means all the duplicated columns have been all the duplicated rows have been removed. That's why we are having the value as 0. So here we have used the a column called balcony, where we have placed it in place is equals to true. So whatever that it gets, whatever that we are doing it here, it gets reflected in the original data set. After removing all the duplicates, we can see that this duplicated dot sum, we are implementing it. We can see that it's showing a number called 0. That means all the duplicate rows have been removed. So what is the takeaway for removing the duplicate values? Removing duplicates ensures that the data is clean, consistent, and free from repeated entries that could distort analytics or lead to wrong conclusion. Just like I explained in an example, for example, if a person have done payment for single order, but he have kept 2 orders, that's when it leads to a problem. So the fourth step is that exploratory statistics and visualization. Why do we need visualization? Because dataset have huge number of rows, huge number of columns. It might consist of, it depends, it varies on dataset. So that's when we can understand the dataset through visualization. So data visualization is a graphical representation of data. It helps turn complex data into easy to understand visuals, making it easier to identify trends, patterns, and outliers. So identify trends means how the data is varying in different rows, or identifying patterns. So what kind of patterns it is showing, and outliers. What is an outlier, by the way? So for example, if there is a column in a range from 2 to 5, but there is a row which is having a number 8, that means this 8 is an outlier, because all the rows are in the range of 2 to 5, but only the outlier value, that is, I mean, only the one row or two rows is having a number 8. That means that is an outlier. Common plots like bar charts, histograms, and scatterplots help summarize and communicate insights clearly. We have different visualizations. We have different, different visualizations that we can show you. The first one is the histogram. A distribution of price or square feet we can see. And then second thing is scatterplot. It shows relationship between, or how it varies between two different columns. And then third one is the bar plot. It shows average price per location. So here we can see. First thing is that we have selected location from the given data set, and in the location we are having around 10 areas that we have selected, and all these were arranged with the uh, mean of the price. So here we can see that this Ashok Nagar is having 1500 with price mean. We have arranged them, and these are the areas n largest of 10. This is a bar plot. Here we can see a visualization. It's an histogram. Here we can see different bins. That is 0 to 500 is a bin, 500 to 1000 is a bin, and 1000 to 1500 is a bin. So here we have taken the price quantity, and we can see that almost 12,000 rows were in the first bin. That is 12,000 rows are having a price from 0 to 500, and then from 500 to 1000 we are having around maybe 500 to 600 rows that is whose price is 500 to 1000. For example, you can see in the data set the prices here 39, 120, 60, 95, 51. That means it is showing how many rows it is having in the range of 0 to 500. And the next one, as I explained, this is a bar chart where you can see we have applied a group by function to the location. Also, we have taken the first large 10 areas of this location. And for example, if you want to see how we can use the bar plots, this is how you can see. For example, if you have implemented different models and if you want to compare them, this is how a bar plot histogram can be used. This is for precision comparison. You will be learning what is precision and all later. This is how you can use them. And yes, model performance heat map. These are called the visualizations. Whenever you don't understand your data or whenever you need more, a good understanding of your data, that's when visualization tools will help you. For example, here we can see this is a heat map. Here through this we can see that CNN GRU it's performing well as it is showing a value of 1, so it performs well. And the least value means it's not the model is not performing well. Similarly, I would like to show you a pie chart. Yeah. So sometimes it is very difficult to study each and every row and to understand each and every row, like what is the data, what is the value for each and every row. That's when these visualization tools help you in understanding. For example, there is a column called attacks. In that, we are having around 10 to 11 attacks. We can't see each row and see how many, we can't check each row and see what is the attack type when we are having more number of rows. That's when we can use a pie chart to understand the distribution of those attacks. So yes, now I would like to like to hand over it to Kalyan. Hello. Kalyan, are you there? Hello. Hello. Am I not audible?
You are audible.
Kalyan, are you there? Where did he leave? Just a second, guys. He will join in a minute.
Hello guys, am I audible now? Um,
Yeah, you're audible, Kalyan.
okay, sorry, something happened in between. I was
Yeah,
talking and something happened. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
it's
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll start with my presentation. Sorry for the mic issues. I guess my
Fine.
presentation is visible, right?
Oh, you have started your presentation, or
No, no,
should I
no,
stop
no.
this?
You can stop your presentation. I will share my screen.
Oh,
Fine.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, fine, fine, fine. There is something happened in between. Okay. Yeah, guys. Hello. This is Kalyan. I'm a Gold Student Ambassador, and I'm currently doing my MTech Integrated Software Engineering at Vellore Institute of Technology, Chennai. So I'm going to take a session on machine learning development life cycle. So there are many life cycles like software development life cycle, AI development life cycle, and many more are there. But now we are gonna see about machine learning life cycle. So yeah. So I guess Sanjana has told you about your data and how it is cleaned and how the processing happened in between and all these things. Now what we are going to do is we are going to learn about the full life cycle, starting from data collection to model building. Fine. So the first step is data. So can anyone tell me what is a data about? Uh, Anybody can unmute and talk. What is a data? Uh, anybody wants to answer for the question? What is a data?
Like names.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Data is like
Just
a
feel free to answer. No, it's not an issue. Feel free to answer.
yeah, fine, fine, no issues. So data is a raw fact. Okay. So for example, if it is Kalyan, Kalyan is a data. It's a raw fact. It doesn't show you any meaning. Okay. Like for example, if it is Sanjana, it is a data. If it is VIT, it is a data. If it is Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, it is a data. So when you tell my Kalyan is a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, it is the information. Okay. So when you club all forms of data, it will become an information. Okay. So that only we call the CSV formed anything as a data. It is a raw fact. It don't convey any information, but if we process it, we will know what is there in the particular data set, anything you can call. The data will be classified into many types like structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured. I will tell you what is structured and unstructured because when you apply machine learning uh, concept into a particular data set, it will be a structured data mostly. Okay, as a CSV format, rows and column format, structured table format. When it is unstructured data, it may be an image, it may be a video, that kind of format. That is also a data set, but that is unstructured data set where you apply deep learning, neural network, all these things into it. So in ML lifecycle, and don't confuse ML and DL, both are not same. ML is different, DL is different. Both has a different life cycle. So what is the life cycle is nothing but starting point to ending point, what is happening in machine learning. Simple. So the first step is data collection. And next step is data cleaning. Third step is feature engineering. Fourth one is model training, evaluation, deployment, and monitoring. Okay. So the ML development lifecycle is a systematic process for building, deploying, and maintaining an ML model. Starting from your data collection, exploratory data analysis, data cleaning, and selecting your model, selecting an algorithm, and training your model. All these things are ML lifecycle. I guess you might be having an idea about what is now the ML lifecycle is about. Okay. And it is iterative, adaptive. Iterative is nothing but it is a repetitive process. You can repeat it again and again and again. Okay, it's not a static process. Okay, so first one is problems to pre-processing. There are many problems. Everybody has a problem. Like that only data is also having a problem. Like Sanjana explained about the null value, right? Like for example, we are sharing you a form. Okay. So where name and email are required. Let's take like that.
Okay.
Okay. What happened? Any doubt? Okay. Okay. So we are sharing you a form where my name and email are required for your certificates, and there will be a third column called how is the session about. Okay. And it's not required, even though if you don't fill, the form will be getting submitted. And that is a data to us. And we are checking out all the form. Only name and email will be there. So some might be filling that feedback form, some might not fill the feedback. So there is a null value in it. So with that, we are evaluating a speaker efficiency, like with your feedback only. Like if you are giving 5, if you are giving 4 as a rating. So like that, we have to evaluate, right? Some people might not be giving that. So at that time, what we will do is we will do the data preprocessing. Either we make that as a 0 or we may remove the entire row. So there are only two things. One is null value treatment. Another one is removing the entire row. Simple. That is pre-processing. So the first one is problem definition. Clearly define the role. That is you are gonna, for example, if you are gonna do a prediction or if you are do a deduction or if you are going to do a classification. Either of these three. First, you have to explain, you have to make it clear that what is your problem statement is. Because without problem statement, we can move further, right? So then what you have to do, you have to understand the matrices. Matrices are nothing but when you are training your machine learning model or anything, you will be getting an accuracy, right? Anybody know what is an accuracy? Accuracy. If yes, thumbs up. Have you heard on a word about what is accuracy? Fine. So in machine learning, if we train a model, we will use a term called accuracy, which means how accurate your model is predicting, classifying anything. Okay, that's called matrices. Matrices, there are many matrices in machine learning, like accuracy, recall, precision, all these things are there. Okay, I will explain you one by one what is that and all in upcoming slides. Next one is data collection. Data, it is very vast, so you can collect it by any mode. Either you can collect it via Microsoft form, a Google form, any form, or you can get your satellite data, or you can get your data from any IoT devices. When you collect such data, the data will not be 100% clean. It will be unclean. Okay. So next step is data pre-processing. So that's the first thing. So first thing, you have to collect enough data. The data must be very vast. Okay. First main thing is if you are going to train a machine learning model with your data set, your data, at least you should have 100 row of data. So 100 or 1000 row of data. It belongs to you how your model is performing. Because if you are a very vast amount of data, your model will be well trained. If not, it will be overfitting, underfitting, all these things will happen, which means your model will not perform well. So the next part is data pre-processing. That is handling missing values, removing duplicates. Handling missing values, what I told, some of them might not fill the particular field. We'll remove it or we'll be putting it as 0, null value treatment. Removing the duplicate is, like for example, if I am a participant, I am filling the certificate form. I am filling it 2 times. Same data, Kalyan, yeah, my college name, my email, and it is repeating again and again. The certificate will also be generated again and again, sometimes. So what we have to do is we have to remove the duplicates. So that is one method. We have to remove the duplicates. And next one is normalize or encode data and split into train and test set. It's nothing but normalizing the data is nothing but you might have very vast amount of data ranging from 0 to infinity. What you're going to do is you will be making it from 0 to 1. When it is out of range, it means if the data is more than 1, it will be removed. That is one of the method called normalization, where your data will be ranging from 0 to 1. If it is more than 1, it is called outlier and it will be removed. Okay. And next one is splitting into train and test. Mostly train and test sets will be splitted according to 80-20% or 70-15-15%, which means training you will be getting in a data set, you will be splitting it as 70% for training and 15% for testing and 15% for validation. Else 80% for training and 20% for testing. Why I am telling this is you can't use the same data for training and testing. The data should be deferred for training and testing. Else you can get the same accuracy only, right? If you use the same data for training also, and if you use the same data for testing also, no use. So the training data will be separate and testing data will be separate. So all these things can be done in the data pre-processing field. And if you want to pursue a career under this data pre-processing or data visualization, you can learn Power BI as a tool. Power BI is one of the tool where you can visualize static data as well as real-time data. You can make a dashboard, you can make a report, basically a visualization format. Visualization is nothing but you are getting accuracy of 90% in one model and 92% of another model. You can make a bar chart explaining these two accuracies, right? So that's called visualization. So you can try those tools as well. If you have a college mail ID, you will be having an access for Power BI. Do check it out. Okay, so next one is model building and evaluation. The first step is model selection and training. Model selection is different, training is different. Okay, so the model selection is nothing but there are n number of models. Like some of the models I will tell you, you can make a note and you can train for, you can use it for machine learning projects. CNN is there, decision trees are there, ResNet is there, MobileNet is there. Some of them are deep learning models as well. Okay, and random forest is there, and some of the methods called clustering. All these things are there, but you need to select a model according to your problem statement or a data set. Okay, so if you want to classify something, you can use CNN. If you want to predict something, you can use unit. Like that, each and every model will be having their own use cases. So that's how this is the point where your project will fail or success. This is the point where you can come into a conclusion that your project will fail or your project will get succeeded. So model selection is another very important point to be noted while you're doing a machine learning project. Okay, and use training data to teach the model patterns. It's nothing but training phase includes training your model with your data. Understand, it's model is your child and your data is your mom, and it is like they will be having a conversation that you should do this, you should not do that. Simple. This is how your data and your model works. You are training your data, and sometimes the training accuracy will be so much higher and testing might not. At the time only the overfitting and underfitting concepts come. There you need to fine tune. So I'll tell you that and all in the upcoming slides. So the next one is model evaluation. So once your training process got done, you have trained your model very well. Now model evaluation is like beta testers. As a human, as a people, we will be testing the model. Some like a external evaluator will come and test. You can take like that. So you will be using the validation and testing data that I told, right? The 20% data or the 30%, 15% data, right? So you'll be using the data and you'll be measuring the model performance. Some of the matrices I have told, right? Accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score. So these are some of the matrices. These are some of the success matrices or for performance matrices. Okay. I will tell you how this precision recall and all work. There are two main points. One is false positive and false negative. And next one is true positive and true negative. Okay, so what is false positive is, I will tell you an example what is false positive. Have anyone written the online proctored exams? Any entrance exams or something? AI proctored exams? You can make a thumbs up. Nobody has written it? Like an AI proctored MCQ exams or something? Like just like an entrance test or something? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so, okay, got it. So how that exams and all will be like, sometimes the human will be proctoring it. In some exams, the AI will be proctoring it. Okay. What if you didn't switch a tab? You will be usually doing switching tab and all is prohibited in AI proctored exams. You didn't switch a tab or you didn't copy paste anything. What if the AI is telling that you are copy pasting? You switched a tab. You are getting an alert like that, which means it's called false positive, telling a wrong information in a positive manner. That's called false positive. So true negative is telling like that's also similar to false positive and false negative. You can see, right? Telling a negative manner in a negative way is different. Telling a positive thing in a negative way is different. Telling a negative thing in a positive way is different. So I don't want to confuse you. So this is how your false positive and false negative work. Basic example is your online proctored exams. What if an AI tell you that you didn't copy paste, but it is showing a false positive value that you are copy pasted. So at that time the model fails. So for evaluating all these things only, we have the matrices called accuracy, precision, recall, F1 score, RMSE. All these things are there. Okay. So here comes the model evaluation. And next comes deployment. Yes, the deployment is at last you are done with all your processes, data cleaning, data pre-processing, training, model evaluation, model selection, all these things are there. Then what you're gonna do is deployment. You are going to integrate your model with your application, whether it may be a web application or mobile application. You all know about your IPYNB file, right? So you'll be downloading the model and integrating the model with your front end. That is your mobile or web app, anything via API or something. Tools like Flask. You all know about Flask framework, right? It's a Python framework. And Fast API, Docker. When you come to cloud-based thing, AWS, GCP, Azure, all these things will be there. So you can deploy it also using this. You all know about TensorFlow Lite. That is one framework, and H5 format. Okay, sorry. All these things are your deployment process. Your file will be downloaded, and you can use that file as a model to do that. Okay. You will be. You all know about your mobile app and all, right? If you take an image, it will tell that it is a cat or dog. Some beginner-friendly projects. Behind that, this model will be running. Okay, that's called deployment. At last, monitoring and maintenance. It is a very important phase. If you are building a very large project like AI, LLM, these are not very small what are that examples I'm telling. But when it comes to a very large project you're building like an LLM or an AI agent, the user feedback is very important. You will be doing the beta testing, and you'll be gathering all the feedbacks, and the model will be trained accordingly. Okay, and sometimes the model may fail due to some bug or issues. There you have to make a version 2, and all the data patterns may be changing, and those things and all will be happening. That this is the last phase, monitoring and maintenance, and this is called ML development lifecycle, machine learning development lifecycle. So I guess you might be understand about how the machine learning things work. If you want to become an ML engineer, you should know all these fields, especially the data cleaning and the data visualization is very important point to pursue your career. Even though it is a research, you have to start from scratch from this, and you have to end up in deployment. So that's it. That's it from my side. If you have any doubts regarding the session, you can ask now. Then we will be showing you, the certificate form. Any doubts? If you have no doubts, you can make a thumbs up. Else you can ask in Q&A or on mute and talk.
Guys, I have mentioned it as an MLSA event. Does everyone know what is MLSA?
Oh yes, I forgot to tell.
Yeah,
Okay.
no. Even they haven't asked, right?
Okay, fine. So guys, we have to explain about what is MLSA first of all. MLSA is like Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program, powered by Microsoft. It's a student based initiative from Microsoft that if you are very good at public speaking, yes, it's a very good place for you to talk and host events. And if you are very good at development, yes, we too have ambassador projects where you can develop your product with the help of Microsoft Azure and the teammates in the program. And you can, if your project is so good, you can go for a demo day where you can show a demo to Microsoft employees and judges and get a grant for that. So that is one part. And other than that, if you're very no, I mean, if you are a very beginner to everything, you can also apply for this. And once you get into the program, you can be a speaker and what is that? You can do projects and you can host challenges and all these things. And this is the best place for you to do. And next question is how to get into the program. So the first step is you have to log into mvp.microsoft.com/student ambassadors. This is the website you need to apply first. And once you apply it, you will be getting a mail with your contributor ID. And Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program has a Discord. So you have to join to the Discord profile. And I guess Sanjana, you can also tell about your experience for becoming a MLS, right? Because you joined via this progress. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So it was my initial years. I was curious about things, and I have the first program that I have got to know is the GCCP programs. I'm sure all of you, know about it. And through the GCCP program, I have got to know about the Google Arcade games, through which I've got to know about also Google Cloud Study Jams. Once I have entered these things, I have got to know that there are events that are happening around me. So I have gotten about MLSA through my seniors who have done a similar events and who have hosted similar events like this. And then I actually met with my senior and I have asked her. That's when I got to know about this Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And I joined almost a year back, but I couldn't have time to do it. But later on, I have started doing it. It almost took me 4 months to make people do the challenges. So the first thing is we have to fill the form, and then we'll be getting a contributor ID. And through that, we need to host challenges. The first step to do is that hosting challenges. So Microsoft, it provides some modules. So we need to make people learn those modules by completing. I mean, by finishing, by making that. Those modules, we will be becoming an MLSA. It's almost we have to make the people to do around 1,000 modules. You can make your friends to do it. If at all you become an MLSA for your campus, you can just host some offline events at your college and help them understand what is MLSA and how it benefits them, how they can learn, uh, how they can learn and explore different things that are happening in that Microsoft platform so that they can gain some valuable insights. So once I have completed 1,000 modules, the first one is this community builder path. I have got into, I mean, I have become an MLSA. So the second step is to become a beta MLSA, where you need to host an event. So currently I am an MLSA, and currently I wanted to become a beta MLSA. That's the reason I have hosted this event. And it also helped me, talking with you people, and it was really very nice to talk with you people. It's weekend, but you people still chose to join this event. It's really good to know about it. Hope you had a great day. Thank you. And please feel free to give your feedback, and if any kind of questions you're having, please post it in the group where we would definitely review it, and we would definitely try to improve for the next sessions. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great session with you all.